know I get embarrassed when I'm late for shit.
It's okay.
Just that calendar invite. We're good. Okay. Oh, hang on. So I just click on this?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
See where you are.
The token has expired. Oh, here we go. Your login attempt was unsuccessful. Try again if this. Join with video.
There you go. There you are. Hey.
Gene! Should I get a shirt on?
Nah. But what you should do is, I'm going to hang up the phone and unmute yourself.
All right.
Got it? Lord, have mercy. I think he fell. Bottom left is the mute button. Click that.
Okay, here we go.
And now hit the video again.
Okay, now I'm going back to the video.
We're cooking with.
So this is, I did a Zoom last week, and I've been watching people do it, obviously. Is this being recorded?
I have been, but I can stop it if you prefer.
No. I want it to be recorded.
All right, we are recording.
And I'm just like a half hour from being awake, and somebody called me, so I was on the phone. Sorry about that.
Okay. And I have to hop off in like 25 minutes.
Oh, perfect.
So we'll have a good conversation. Do you want me to act as kind of the host for this, or would you like to? Or do you just want to have a conversation?
Yeah, we can have a conversation, and I wouldn't mind asking you some questions because I was thinking about it yesterday.
All right, so let's just have a conversation. First of all, the no shirt look was amazing.
All right,
that's hysterical. There you go. Now this thing's gonna really, get some views.
So how does that? Wait, introduce yourself, and then I'll introduce. Well,
Hey, Ed,
I have a hard time not taking over.
Ed, I'm your friend Gene, Kansas.
Gene, how are you?
I'm good, man. Nice to see you.
What? How did we meet, Gene? I think I remember. Yes. Okay.
You brought some beautiful Oriental rugs, right?
Right.
Constellations at the invitation of Kelly Stoos.
Yes.
All of the interiors here.
Yes, and then I was very impressed with your place, and I was thinking much deeper about the whole experience because that's what I do. And then the next time I ran into you, because of you being Gene, Kansas, with an interesting last name, and you recognized me at a coffee shop,
right,
and said hello, and I thought that was the coolest thing because I do that a lot, and people don't do that enough.
And when we saw each other, you told me a great story about you and your father, and how he used to kind of cut back a little bit on staff on the weekends. And you said, you can't do that. You cannot have people waiting to give you their money. Right?
And you, this is a perfect segue because I was talking about my dad yesterday. So
tell people what your dad did and a little bit about him, though, so they know.
Okay, so my dad was a pretty cool guy, not super emotional and huggy, kissy, like a dad of the 60s, 70s. The youngest of three brothers, sort of lived in the shadow of his brothers and had some self-esteem issues. But my dad owned a deli and a bakery in New Jersey, and he was fairly successful. And great food. And
what was it called?
The Pantry. Like, you would have a pantry in your kitchen, right?
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. It was a Jewish style. It wasn't kosher.
Y'all
And
aren't Jewish, right?
yeah, we are.
Oh, you are. Okay.
Yeah. Are you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
The Kansas is a dead giveaway.
Kansas, total dead giveaway. Yeah, that's you're like one of my very few friends that are kind of this really cool conundrum.
We'll take it. Okay. So,
So
yeah, here at the pantry.
so my dad had the pantry, and I used to, of course, I always had a job, right? If your dad has a business that needs, so the whole thing of people not being able to get jobs as young teenagers is foreign to me, right? So anyway, I must have been 10 years old. I worked in the back of the store. I'm the owner's son. I could do whatever I want. And I flitted from job to job, cleaning, mixing salads, whatever. And my dad runs in the back of the store. I didn't know that it was busy in the front. And he says, I need you in the front of the store right now. And I was like, I'm not going there. I'm not going to wait on people. That's scary. And so I didn't go. So maybe a minute later, 2 minutes later, now he comes running back, he slides because he was running. I need you in the front of the store right now. Move it. And I walk up to him kind of sheepishly, and I said, well, what do I do? I don't know what to do. I was frightened, really. I remember it like it was yesterday. We're talking 50 years ago, right? And he said, it's really easy. Get an apron, get a clean apron, and just say 3 words. Can I help you? Now get your ass out there. And I credit that with learning how to deal with the public, being of service to people, because I was frightened.
Did you like it though when you started? Because you're really great now, especially with people.
I was so frightened, Gene, but only one customer. And once I started the second customer on, it was easy because I love conversation, I mean, that, and you're the same way.
Right. Well, a lot
You're
of
really,
mine comes from growing up in New Orleans and everyone's saying hey to everybody. Hey, what's up, babe? It's constant.
ah.
It's
So
great.
then yesterday, the most profound thing happened, I have to tell you. And I don't want to talk about myself the whole time, but I've been, during this COVID, I've been connecting with people I haven't talked to in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And because it feels really good, I know they feel good. So I called actually one of my parents' friends who was
Yeah.
younger. Are we okay?
Yep. Just looking for a note from the wife. You always have to read the note from the wife. Keep
Oh, tell her I said hello.
I will.
So anyway, I called my friend Lenny Pravda. So Lenny they were 10 or 15 years younger than my parents. So I became friends with them. And my dad flew a single engine plane, and I went to boarding school in Cape Cod, which was 6 hours from where we lived in New Jersey. So we flew there, and Lenny came with us. Maybe I was 15. So we flew to Hyannis, and my school was about a 20-minute drive from Hyannis. So we flew to Hyannis in the morning. We had lunch, and then my dad bought me a pair of boots. He gave me the bag with the boots, and he said, I'll see you later. I said, what are you talking about? I said, aren't you going to take me back to school? Like in a cab or something, because we didn't have a car. And I'll never forget it. He looked at me and he says, you're on your own, pal. And my heart dropped. I was like, this is child abuse. It was like, what do you mean I'm on my own? You're not going to take me back to school? So I was telling, just yesterday, I was on the phone. In fact, I got back in the plane with your dad, you went to school, and I was kind of dumbfounded that he did that to you. I found out about this yesterday. I heard the other side of the story.
All right. What did he say? Did your
Well,
dad say
he
anything?
said to my dad, he said,
By the way, with your background, which is fun, it looks like your hair is blowing in the wind, which is
I'm
fine.
in I'm in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's a little windy there today.
Yes, I have the fan on.
Okay.
So
So what
I
did
said,
your
are
dad
you, I
say?
said, what's that?
What did your dad say? Was he?
Well, this was the other side of it that I never knew until yesterday. And this is 46 years ago. I felt so like kind of like he left me. It's like, you mean you're not going to take me back to school? And, I had assumed that. What was going on in my dad's mind was he wasn't instrument rated to fly at night. And he wanted to it was like I don't know, I want to say like an hour and a half flight, maybe 2 hour flight from New Jersey to Hyannis in a small plane. His focus was, all right, he's here. We're safe. I got to get back.
Right.
And he didn't get into detail. I just felt like left.
Well, this is the thing, Ed, that our emotions are affected or impacted by what we think.
Yes.
And because none of us are mind readers, your story, oftentimes our emotions are irrational ones because our thoughts are irrational. Now, that's the benefit of knowing facts or having like expanded or more in-depth conversations.
Clear communication.
Clear communication, and it's an important thing to remember right now. Like, we're not mind readers, we're not fortune tellers,
Right.
and things are not all like, black or white or yes or no. There's a lot of gray area, and it's something to keep in mind when not only are the fact
Sorry.
that's okay. Not only are the reports that we're getting changing like minute to minute, some cases, or certainly day to day.
Right.
But
Sorry.
that's okay. The viewers just got a real treat. but you know, we're also being lied to by the leadership of the country, etc. So it's a great story. Do you feel better having heard that side of it?
Well, not necessarily, because I'm of the mindset that, well, no, I felt it was so great to talk to my friend Lenny,
Yeah.
who is 17 years older than me, and most of my parents' friends were much older.
Yeah.
So I talked to Lenny because he was a very important part in my life, and I haven't talked to him in many years. And that's what I've been doing lately, is calling people and saying, and you're a new friend, and I feel the same way. It's like, you're interesting. You were an integral part of my growing up, and we shared many experiences. He was very funny, but I didn't and he said to me, he said, so, don't be mad at your dad anymore. I said, no, I'm not. I let go of that stuff. I looked at it as a teaching moment, and not all teaching moments are happy and fun.
Yeah.
But I try to be where what can I do different is be very clear in my communication, and I have a hard time. I was in a relationship for a while, and it was just very ambiguous, and it drove me crazy.
Yeah.
And I was called needy and insecure. And there's times when I'm needy and insecure. I can own that, but
Well, everyone on the planet's insecure. Otherwise,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be alive.
Right. Right.
We need to survive, and to have a motivation to survive, you need a little bit of insecurity.
Yeah. No.
I know what you're talking about, of course.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, Lenny, I said, what did you say to my dad? Because now there's this vision of I'm not in the plane anymore. I'm feeling my feelings on the ground in Hyannis, Massachusetts, and they're up in the plane. And I said, you remember that? He goes, absolutely, 100%. I was surprised of how your dad left you there like that. Because I thought, don't you want to spend time with your son? But my dad's agenda was safety.
Right.
But he didn't explain to me, listen, I'd love to spend more time with you, but we have to get back. I don't want to get into any weather, blah, 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 blah. But he didn't explain that to me.
Right.
So it was so interesting. And, consequently, anytime I have what I call a parenting moment with my daughter, I jump on it because there ain't that many.
And whatever they are, it could have an effect either way. I mean, like your dad not having the communication could have been beneficial to you in some way. Like maybe you did say, all right, I got to like do my thing. I don't know.
Who, me?
Yeah. I mean, did you have like a greater sense of independence after that?
Yeah, and I thought I always did, but I just thought, I'm going to hang with my father.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we love our dads, fortunately.
Yes, no matter what, even
we're Jewish. We're forced to.
right. And even kids that have been abused or have alcoholic parents, or they love their parents, unless it's severe, they, so, but I remember, like, because really, Gene, what's the big deal? I think he even handed me $20 or $10. It wasn't like he left me on the street. I had a new pair of shoes. He fed me.
Right. But it means something because it was new, and because you had an expectation.
I had an expectation that, my parents paid back then. This is 1971. That school was $7,000 or $8,000 a year.
Maybe 74.
Wait, you're right, 74. Yeah,
I'm not that good at math. I just know how old I am.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was 74 because I graduated high school in 76. But that school today is $60,000 or $70,000 a year, but it's a boarding school, so there's expenses. So instead of instead of being a whiny Jewish person and complaining about how half full or half empty your life is, look, my parents recognized that I was having a problem in school, and they were probably told by a psychologist that, I often say this, I don't know if they were told, it was the best thing for both of us, for me to get out of the house and for them to get out of my life.
Well, yeah.
In terms of, because I didn't live at home for 2 years.
Well, it's a little bit of, distance. That's a good amount of time and distance. But I think people are trying to like figure that out right now. Like, all right, this kid or this parent or whatever is driving me crazy. I need to get out of the house. Where can I go? What can I do right now? Right.
Yeah. Which
The
is hard because we're being told to shelter in place.
Right. And everything is so much more like dramatized and in focus right now, and sped up. So like these teachable moments are happening, at a pretty rapid rate, and randomly, because there's more stuff to teach. Like we haven't really gotten too much into the lying conversation, and we decided that we were not going to give our political views to our son who's 5.5, because like he'll figure it out eventually, and he doesn't need to know that, you know, we think that the president is a sociopath who's lying
Right.
all the time, right?
Right, because then there'll be a whole Daddy, what's a sociopath?
And also, we think that the office of the president should really have some esteem, and it's a lot to learn. And we didn't want to put into his mind that the president's not good. Okay,
I
or
love it.
the office of the president. And still, yesterday, he said, unprompted, Donald Trump's a liar, and we need to chase him out of town. Yeah.
Where's he getting this?
The news and conversation and people. And I think a lot of it, he's aware and he's paying attention, but we didn't,
Wow.
you know, tell him anything. I mean, you also have to watch what you're saying, obviously, around kids, you know, being a parent.
Yes. Yes.
It's fascinating, though, how much we're all learning right now. And to me, that's kind of one of the silver linings is the amount of experiences that we're gaining, what we're able to do with them, how we're able to like adapt, the creativity that comes along with all of it. Obviously, like I'm concerned about people and their well-being and all that. And at the same time, it's like you're getting to reconnect with old friends. You're getting to figure out how you are going to run a restaurant. You are figuring out how and when you want to go, you know, socialize, things like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we're not. Yeah.
just one other thing. There's like, you know, the people that for one reason or another, like you didn't invite to your wedding. Like,
well, that was easy because I got married in Ireland.
okay. For the rest of us, for like, for those that were kind of like maybe on the fence and one reason or another, like they didn't come, you haven't really talked to them that much since. And I think that this time in our lives is like, for those that you choose to connect with, you know, and stay in contact with, those are the ones you want to stay in contact with.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Because I have a friend.
And there's all full respect, whatever.
Yeah. I have a friend I've known since 3rd grade. We didn't become friends until high school. And we stayed friends for a really long time. We had a really big falling out. I didn't talk to him for 6 or 7 years. And then we reconnected. And then he lived up north. And then he came down here for Memorial Day. We went and had something to eat. And he was freaked out about how I'm living my life. And I said, you know, I'm fine with it, you know. And he doesn't talk to me anymore. I have no idea.
I don't know who this person is, but I think that you're one of the most charismatic,
thank
kind,
you.
interesting people. And you seem to be very happy.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're enjoying it to me.
Well, I last week I was, and thank you very much. Because I think you're a really unique guy, especially for what you do, which is one of the things I wanted to talk about. We could always do this again. It's like, he's really cool, and he's like a real estate investor, and those people are usually so busy, they don't have time to talk to anybody, and you're a really unique guy.
Thank you.
And because we have in our mind, like, what is a CEO like? He's somebody that you're never going to get to talk to, because he's running a big multi-million-dollar, so anyway, what I realized about this friend is that I think what you're saying about the waiting list, the people that don't make it, is that they're just really not that close, right?
Yeah, and that's okay. Or things or times changed or circumstance changed,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. How we doing on time?
We've got a couple of minutes. I wanted to ask you if you would be so kind to tell people about what you do and where they can find what you do, because I'm a fan and I want them to be a fan.
Okay, so for most of my adult life and young adult life, I was in the movie business, and I moved to Atlanta 6 years ago last week, and um, I my wife and I split up, and I was kind of on my own. I came here pretty much with not that much after having all the trappings of success in Southern California, working in the movie business, which was unfortunately really tied to my identity. And then about a year or so in, I found myself not working in the movie business that much, running out of money, and I had to reinvent myself. When I moved here, I was introduced, it was a godsend, I didn't know at the time, to a Persian rug importer. He paid me $10 an hour, which I accepted, because he looked at me and he said, when I kind of squawked about the money, and he said, just have an open mind. And being Jewish, I tried to get twice that, but this was my first experience in Persian negotiation. And so I ended up hopping up into a truck and unloading bales of Persian rugs. And then I took his rugs and put them online. I started selling online. I've been online for 5 years. And that's what I do now. I import rugs from Turkey and Morocco, around the world. I sell rugs, and the only movie making I do is with my phone. And
Which are great, by the way.
thank you. And I love it because I'm still a filmmaker. I always will be, but I had to get over that was my identity. So, I got really depressed, which I talk about. I have an Instagram called Depression, a Love Story, because it's about loving ourselves. So I have a second career. It's called Online Oriental Rugs. And, I find rugs for people like you. And, I met you through Kelly in Texas. I was in Texas, and I call my customers kind of relationships. And,
Yeah.
I'm just, I feel like I'm ahead of the curve, especially now because I've been online for 5 years. So I've been safe, medically safe, because, I share.
Oh, Ed, you there? There you go.
Sorry.
And I have to
I
jump
had
off in about
one of my
60 seconds.
So anyway, I'm on Instagram. I have two websites I sell rugs on.
I'm gonna put all this in kind of some text.
Oh, cool.
This. I have to go jump on a weekly status call. I've really
Okay.
loved the visit. It's been nice.
Yes, it's been great.
By the way, I'm calling this a cultural conversation. I want to have a lot of them.
Good.
And the title is, you'll be the first one to hear it. Tell me what you think. The title is, You Were Saying?
Oh, I could see it in quotes.
Kind of like before all this happened, we were all having a conversation and then we were interrupted. And now here's the new conversation.
Yes, I love it.
You like?
I could see it's got to be, there's a book out or I think you should get like some nice type and a logo and quotes. And you were saying ... or even the dots are before that.
All right.
I love it.
Be well, my friend.
All right. Thanks, Gene. You're the best.
Talk to you. Bye.
Bye.